this is Keeps, the largest hair loss brand in the world and recently acquired for over $1 billion. In 2022, they were the second biggest YouTube sponsorship spender across every single industry. But after digging deeper, I realized their influencer marketing strategy is just one piece of a genius funnel. So as someone who's an industry insider and has generated over $60 million in email and SMS revenue for telehealth brands with my team, I'm exposing the 3 psychological marketing strategies Keeps uses to convert strangers into high-paying patients. And if you're a telehealth brand, you can ethically steal every single one of these strategies for yourself. Now, let's get straight into it. Alright, so Keeps, the world's most valuable hair loss brand. And they have pretty much done something that most telehealth brands do the total opposite of. What most telehealth brands do are trying to be everything to everyone. But Keeps has gone to the complete opposite direction, and it's become their biggest competitive advantage. So they're putting 100% of their marketing budget behind this one core message, which is pretty much hair loss stops with us. This makes their advertising so much simpler, it makes scaling operations simpler, and this all happens because there's only one key patient journey that they need to keep in mind everywhere in the business. And first area where they keep this in mind is the acquisition and advertising side. And regarding this, they're utilizing these key channels that I'm explaining here right now. And because they're using all of these channels, they're not reliant on any single one of them. And they've built this dominance through coordinated distribution across most of these major acquisition surfaces. And the channels they are utilizing mainly are, influencer marketing, social media ads, organic social media, Google ads and SEO, and then TV ads as well. And let's go straight into the first part of this, which is a really big part of their funnel. This is the influencer marketing. So Keeps has been the second biggest YouTube influencer spender across all industries in Q3 2022. And they had 144 sponsored videos in a single quarter at that time. Some examples of where they actually show up. For example, here's Theo One of the most famous podcasts in the world, comedy podcast. There's Philip DeFranco, YouTube. There's Best Ever Food Review Show. There's Donut Media. And obviously, at first glance, you might think like, why are they advertising on these weird platforms and these weird channels? How is it relevant to health and telehealth and hair loss and everything? There's multiple reasons why this works, but pretty much it's because they aren't competing with other brands on these ad slots. They've found a way to be super creative and marketing where no one else did. So they're pretty much carving their own niche where they're marketing, where none of their competitors are actually pushing their ads to compete with them. And pretty much this has made them achieve a situation where they have an entire platform where they're the only single solution that exists for this specific problem. And also, obviously, by associating with target audience's favorite creators, they're able to build more trust. They are sponsoring creators that their target audience already watches. So these kind of creators, like their target audience is already watching these, and by being able to show up on those channels, especially when there's no competition of similar solutions or brands, they've been able to crush it in this space. And obviously it has become a really cornerstone of their whole growth and their success story. Now the second channel here is social media ads, and so Keeps is basically using influencer marketing to warm their audience first and then closing them with the retargeting ads through social media. The influencer sponsorships are creating the massive warm audience, which they are then going for with their social ads to retarget those viewers, which obviously dramatically decreases the CAC because they already have warm prospects, bought loads of those there, and they're able to then push them to these ads and make them convert at a much higher rate than they would without the actual influencer marketing part of the strategy in place. And here's a couple of creative examples from them. You don't have to just shave it off anymore. And then there's some social proof as well here. Forbes Health Best of 2025 top pick, their product photo, keep your hair, regrow the rest. Pretty much super simple stuff, super simple creative, but really, really targeted to the main one specific messaging part that their whole brand is built upon. And here another version, a little bit more visually different, but there's every comeback looks like a loss at halftime. And again, the Forbes social proof tag here, hair regrowth takes time, wait for the win. This gives a good example of the type of brand and the type of communication they want to be associated with. And it's also really, really aligned with the channels that they're reaching out to here, like, Theo One, all of these other ones. I think when you start to look at it and start to see the big picture, you see how their tone matches the channels they're reaching out to, how it matches the target audience they're going after, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's super interesting, and it's been able to make them this successful. But going to the next parts here, obviously influencer marketing, social media ads, but then the other channels they're doing as well, organic content. Again, like I just mentioned, they have a really, really unique tone of voice, and they're, really well grabbing the actual language that their prospects are interested in, their prospects are speaking as well. So you can see their social media organic content is really similar to that. There's like memes, there's this kind of simple communication that matches what they also had in the ads, kind of like a word plays and all this kind of stuff as as well. Then there's, Google Ads and SEO. They're really high level there. And then TV ads as well. You can see here, keeps on TV as well. With all of these channels in place, they are pretty much creating this everywhere effect where, prospects see the same brand on all different platforms at the same time or different days. Whenever they go, wherever they go, they're always seeing keep there. And this is building massive trust and authority, top of mind effect, making all of the efforts that they do after that perform even better. And so now that they have all this traffic and trust, how do they actually convert it? And this brings us to their next part of their funnel, which is the Genius quiz funnel that they are having in place. So they're using 3 psychological strategies inside a simple questionnaire to turn hesitant prospects into paying subscribers every single month. Let's start with the step number 1 here, step number 1 or psychological principle number 1, which is the sales questions here. So they're asking prospects questions that don't determine the treatment, but spike emotions and enable personalized content on the back end. So basically you can see here when you start the treatment, which best matches you as a starting, mild, moderate, advanced. Then there's other questions. Has anyone ever noticed or commented on your hair loss? You're collecting this kind of data, and then you can put this into your email service provider, for example. You can understand like what is the level of stage where they're at, what kind of feelings they're feeling, and then you can personalize your content on the flow journeys, on the automated sequences according to what they already gave you as information. Then the second part here, sales slides that sell the solution, the brand, and educate the customer. So you can see here, you're in good hands, a 98% experience hair stabilization with the first 3 months, then 86% experience visible regrowth, etc., etc. And then going here to the next step, also explaining the different ingredients there. There's also social proof, so our members see results in as little as 6 months, and then some images before afters, and then another one here, John, you're approved, and then another before after image here. So that's the second part. And then the third part here is the personalization emphasis. So basically the more the customer feels and believes it's custom, the more likely they are to purchase. And here you can see the loading bar when they are actually going through the questionnaire and finishing it. It's kind of like giving this feeling that the solution is actually being calculated in a way. There's like, matching your prescription treatment 46%, and it's just like going forward, and these boxes are getting ticked in this process. And then the second thing here, your analysis is complete, and then it gives you your profile, and then it says you're a strong candidate. 86% of similar profiles see results. And this is pretty much like they use the answers to say they're a great candidate, and they pretty much do that regardless, as long as they are actually qualifying for the treatment. So there's no medical reasons not be allowed for the treatment. And then there's also this last part, John, you're approved. So basically this approved makes it feel even more exclusive and makes it feel like they're achieved, like, okay, now I'm able to take this prescription, and it makes them feel like it's going to be successful, and it makes them trust the treatment more and, stay on the treatment as well. And then there's also obviously cross-sells and upsells, which is a big part of the end of the funnel here. People have already gone through the questionnaire and are like towards the end of it, about to become a customer. With these, again, the more customized the process is, the more likely they are to purchase. And you can see here, there's personalized cross-sells. So when they're about to finish the process here, you can see, are you interested in any specific types of over-the-counter products? So there's supplements, hair care products, hair styling products, etc. So it asks what they're interested in before it actually decides what to cross-sell. So if they tick some of these boxes, they're kind of like giving it permission to actually do these cross-sells. And if they don't tick any of these, they're not gonna go ahead and do so. There's also multi-month plan upsells to increase retention straight from the get-go. So basically you can see commitment leads to the best results in as little as 4 to 6 months. And then there's a starter pack, ships every 3 months, and then commitment pack ships every 6 months. So you can go straight into 6 or 3 month plan to get more cash upfront, or like for the brand to get more cash upfront, get more retention, and then for the customer to have some savings there, because like you're saving on the monthly price if you go to a longer term plan, and then you're also able to commit to the long term treatment and make sure that you're getting the best results. So it's kind of like a win-win for both the customer, the patient, and also the brand itself. Then premium upsell. So there's also at the end here compare Chew and Chew Plus. So basically there's premium option for customers with more buying power, has some supportive compounds, and it's like it says 5-in-1 compound prescription plan compared to 3-in-1. So it's like most effective, and then this is most affordable. So again, trying to get even more out of the same customer with these premium upsells. Now, there's still one last part of their marketing, which is the core reason behind their $1 billion valuation. And this is retention and lifecycle marketing. So LTV to CAC, lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio, is everything in telehealth. So you want to increase your retention, increase your lifetime value while decreasing your customer acquisition cost. And that ratio between those two metrics is pretty much the definition, the defining defining feature of whether you're going to be successful or not. In 2026, the highest ROI channels for improving your LTV and decreasing your CAC are own channels like email and SMS. So let's go give a really quick kind of overview of their email marketing right now to explain what they're doing and then what could they even be doing a little bit better. Retention lifecycle marketing, they still keep the same focus on here as they do on the other channels, and they focus really well on the target audience. Their style and tone of voice is really matching still. You can see here one of their emails, keep signature formulas. They're talking about the formulas here and all of the other variants they're selling, also like ED treatments on the back end and stuff like that. They also do text-based emails, so these kind of like build connection with the same focus on this one key angle. So you can see here like a personalized branded plain text email from the Keeps team. You know, this is an offer for starting the year up to 50% off in your first 3 months. And then obviously really this wordplay that they're doing always, it shines through here as well. So through thick and thin, the Keeps team. All right, and then very clear offer, another part. So basically some brands hide their offer deep down in the email, but not Keeps. So this is exactly how you need to go if you want to promote some kind of offer in your emails. Get up to 60% off. This is impossible to miss. If you open the email, you're gonna know what the offer is. It's our biggest sale of the year. Get started and save. And then showing some of these products, so add to cart. So these are different variants that you are being able to access as a customer or as a patient. But obviously their email and SMS marketing isn't perfect. As someone who's generated over $60 million in email revenue for telehealth brands with our team, CrowdTrigger, here's what I would change. So I'm not going super deep into this. I have a lot of these videos that you can go watch from my profile where I explain all the different flows and all the different strategies for telehealth. But I'm going on the high level and giving some kind of tips that they're missing, even though they're a really big brand. And these would actually be huge impact for a brand their size. So first of all, slow or no welcome flow. After signing up for the email list over 24 hours ago, I've yet to receive a single email. So you sign up from here, but you're not getting anything, just crickets. And this email should hit inside first 5 minutes, and that's when the prospect is the most engaged. So that's when you also need to actually start to get them over the fence of buying and finish their, first step of the journey, which is getting to become a customer, become a patient. So this is when you actually want to be sending email or SMS or both. I have a video which explains all of the key flows for telehealth marketing, so you can watch it from here or from the screen if you're watching the YouTube video right now. Also, a second thing, no abandonment emails or SMS as well. So after getting to checkout and not purchasing, they made no attempt to recover the sale. So basically I did the whole process. I went through the questionnaire, I filled all my information. So obviously at that point you would assume that I'm a really warm lead, but I didn't get any emails after that. So that's a that's like the highest performing and highest converting, highest revenue generating flow out of all the flows for telehealth brands usually. So that would be a big impact on their customer acquisition cost to drop them even lower and improve the LTV to CAC ratio through that. Obviously, like I said, this means they're losing out on thousands of patients they would have been able to recover. Some of these who might have just needed a nudge, like they actually forgot, and we would just be able to send them a super simple reminder and they would get back to their treatment and finish it. Or another option is like they had some objection. We could really easily have been able to handle that objection and then get them to the treatment throughout that. But right now, no emails going out, no SMS going out, so we're pretty much missing out on all that. And again, I have a full video on how to do a telehealth abandonment flow optimally, how to structure it to have both of those objections handled. So basically just the fact that they might have forgotten, and then the second one is they actually had some trust issues or some other objection. Both of these situations and the perfect structure for this kind of flow on a high level is explained in this video here. But that was pretty much the whole Keeps funnel. Hopefully you find it valuable. If you want to see a breakdown of Hims, the biggest telehealth brand in the world, you also have an access to that video below or on the screen right now because you're watching this YouTube video. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully you're getting value out of this one and also out of the Hims video and the other ones that I showed here. And I'll see you in the next one.